on Estee Lauder with an ongoing call. Obviously, it's an imperative for you and imperative for us. We will not have the full call, but we have enough information, I think, to be able to piece together what is going on. And I would say the pieces are positive versus what you might have heard. But there's obviously concerns. And should we go there first, or do you want to talk about overall market?
Let's hit this first while we're here. Okay. So they did. It was a quarterly beat on the top line and bottom line. They did cut guidance, which I think was largely anticipated, but it was the magnitude of the decline is what took people by surprise. But this is something that we've seen Estee Lauder do time and time again, good quarters or bad quarters, in that they like to give low ball guidance, and they often beat those expectations. But why did they cut guidance? Mostly due to restrictions in China, ongoing travel. They're really getting hurt. But by the way, domestic China was actually up single digits, I believe, in the quarter. So it's a sign of underlying demand.
North America, they're very proud of. That's why they raised the dividend. And we have a small position. I was inclined to buy. Obviously, I came in, it was at 180. I knew that was ridiculous.
Right.
At this price, the reason why it went from 360, this is really important. It's kind of like AMD. Okay. It went from 360 to 200, was yesterday, because of worry about the decline in sales at travel. Because they do a huge business in duty free, as you may know, when you ever go to an airport. Domestic China good, but the travel in China has outside has been nil, and that's the biggest customer.
Right.
That's their number one customer. So Fabrizio Freda, the excellent CEO, is basically saying, look, this is going to come back. We're not sure when it's going to come back. Obviously, if they open tomorrow, then I think that what happened is that this stock is probably now a coiled spring to go to 250. So we have a small position. I want to buy it.
Right. That's where we're leaning. They did say, by the way, they anticipate a sequential acceleration to organic sales and adjusted EPS in the second half of their fiscal year. Right. So the quarter they just reported was Q1. The low guide was for Q2. So we might be looking at really only one more this current quarter as being the last one of a sluggish trend before things start to really pick up, which I think is encouraging and a reason to continue buying.
Now, you can understand, we're now talking about Starbucks and Disney and Estee Lauder and Wynn. So are we too levered to China? One of my theses, and again articulated last night on Mad Money, is that it is almost inconceivable to me that President Xi will continue to allow a policy when I understand that he has developed a reverse mRNA vaccine and has the ability to be able to distribute it. How long will he remain a pariah and his country a pariah? And what I don't want to do, why we only had a small position, but I want to get quite big actually, what I need to see us to have is to be the most levered to China, given the fact that that is the most natural to change. Now, we're subject every day to rumors. The stocks have been up for the last couple of days. But I believe that it's, again, that to be here and expect us 6 months from now be discussing lockdown is just inconceivable. So you need to have chits in the game.
Right.
Starbucks, Estee Lauder, and Disney are chits in the game, as is Wynn. And I want those. They require pain. We are good at pain taking because we're not going anywhere. And we are not running money that is going to be taken away from us. Yep. So I would say we're getting our chance. Just like yesterday, when we talk about stocks that are down 15, 16 points, they tend to continue to go down during the day. But this morning, when it was at 180 and you came in, I just said, look, we got to buy it. But we don't have that ability to be able to move that fast. But we can say it on the morning meeting. And now you know that that's our plan when we're free. David Faber asked me about it, which therefore froze us, which I think is part of the flaw of what we do for a living here.
Sure.
But I like it. I will do more homework though. I'm not done. When you see a stock down like this, you don't just make 2-3 calls. You make 5 calls. So Estee Lauder, small position. I want to be bigger. We sold huge. We had a huge gain in this in the 300s.
Sure, 360.
And I think it's going to start 350. And it's going to start again. And we need to be there. And we need to be there as a 3-4 position. 3-4.
All right, guys. Just wanted to chime in a little bit. We will definitely come back to Jim Cramer and that meeting, but I just wanted to chime in a little bit and talk to you guys. So we know Estee Lauder, they deals with a lot of skincare, and you know, people like ladies like to look nice. They need their makeup done, they need their hair done, and all that stuff. So the question is that I think it's gonna be a good buy. I think that if you believe, as I was saying yesterday, if you believe skincare and makeup and all that stuff is good to stay, even with the China, even with everything happening in China, because we know that would change. But what you want to be very careful about, you does not want to miss the boat. You want to be very, very careful that you don't miss the boat in a company like that that deals with a lot of skincare. Last year, the investment club sold that stock at around the I think it's 350 mark. And I am not in the stock as yet, just to disclose that to you. But the last time I tried to get in and I wait too long and I was not able to get in. So please don't let that happen to you. It has happened to me with many stocks. So if you think that this is the opportunity, you should try to get in. I think we're oversold right now. So maybe I'll wait a day or two and try to get in. I'm thinking about getting in. They doesn't have a big dividend. As you know, I like dividend, but the upside is so great. So let's go back to Jim Cramer and Jeff Mock with the CNB Investment Club, and I will chime in again as they talk about some new stocks. So let's go back to the investment club.
Yep. So, all right, and then back to the broader market, obviously a little bit lower today. The big news today is coming at 2 and 2:30 when the Fed makes its rate decision, largely expected to get a 75 basis point increase. I don't think there's not a lot of debate there. The question, though, is will the Fed downshift the pace of rate hikes? Maybe they do 50 in December, slow down from there, or do they keep the pedal to the metal, so to speak? And I think that's really the question we're going to have to figure out when Jay Powell starts talking at 2:30.
Right. Now, I want to emphasize that I think that there are two courses. One is 3/4 and then wait to see if things slow. And the other is 3/4 and say, listen, we have to do more. Now, we have to do more, maybe in reaction to the fact that there is no sign to me that Friday's employment number will be weak.
Right. Strong ADP this morning.
Strong ADP this morning. I do believe that there are some obvious commodities that decline. One of the reasons why we own a Procter & Gamble is because commodities, raw costs are coming down. But this is really important. Can you imagine a situation where Powell does 3/4 and then says he has to be data dependent, and then literally 2 days later, the data shows that he should have tightened? It's just not worth it. It's much better to be able to say, look, we're tightening in 3/4 increments. These are increments. These are gigantic increments on a percentage basis. We may just have to keep doing it. So it's very unfortunate, but until we see employment level off, until we see wages level off, this is what you're going to get. And then on Friday, you're going to be able to get the sell-off when you see that might be more viable than what happens today. And I say that in part because we still are very overbought.
Yep, that's a good point too. But again, dovish speech. Maybe we see a rally, but if it's hawkish, not. It's a toss-up. That's kind of how I feel.
And I don't
kind of have to sit on your hands.
I don't like toss-ups. Now, speaking of toss-ups, Advanced Micro, AMD. Now let's go there because Advanced Micro, we sold a substantial amount much higher. And then it went down, and we did buy some.
Yeah.
We bought some, obviously not at this level, but at higher. My feeling is that this is what I call, and excuse me for people who are like animals like I do, and more of a dead cat bounce.
Okay.
The reason to say that is because PCs, which are very important, down 20%, versus data center, which is good, versus gaming, which is good, but I don't know if it can stay good. Last night we had PlayStation news that from Sony, the PlayStation sales use is down 10%. So maybe gaming gets a little bit more convoluted.
Right.
Xilinx acquisition, good.
Xilinx doing well. You're right.
Right. So you've got enough to make it so that perhaps it shouldn't come from here to here. But I don't know if it could get back to here until we know that the inventory glut is completed.
And they're saying PC could take another couple quarters, so that's an issue. But you do have the CEO, Dr. Lisa Su, on tonight, so a great chance to get down exactly what's happening.
Okay, so Humana. Pretty much in line with what we were looking for.
Yeah.
No need to do anything unless you feel like we're being too greedy. I mean, you could argue we have been.
Yeah, that's a great point. Stock's up 20% year to date. It's definitely been a nice win for us. I think the key line, I want to point out from the quarter, they expect Medicare Advantage membership growth to increase about 7% to 8.7% over 2022 guidance. Remember when they disclosed weaker than expected Medicare Advantage growth? That's what really sunk the quarter.
That's when
the stock.
We were able to take advantage of that and buy it.
Yeah. So, but really, all those investments that they're making, it's paying off. It's paying off big time, and that's why the company's doing very well.
An economic slowdown, Humana is probably one of the foremost things to buy.
Yeah, and no dollar exposure either, which
no dollar exposure
is a big thing too.
Overreaction, Devon Energy decline. Now, we've been scaling out of Devon because it's been a gigantic hit in case that we got some read on the company that showed slowing. Now, Devon, again, overreaction. I said we sold a lot here, okay? So my thinking is you have to get to, no, that's too low. I would think that if you get to here, maybe a little bit higher, we would begin to buy back some of our stock because then the dividend would be obviously, the yield would be higher.
So it was a 7% yield. So $1.35 is what they announced, 7% yield. If you look at yesterday's close, why the stock is getting hit hard, lower than expected production guidance and CapEx was higher too. So a little bit of a double whammy. The conference call is today. I'm sure we're going to hear exactly what went on in the quarter.
My experience is to say no need to pull the trigger yet. We've sold a substantial amount, not worth it.
And very quickly, Jim, I think this is a big story. You had Lilly CEO.
All right, guys, let me come back and just talk briefly about the Fed. So let me just come back and talk briefly about that. Anyway, guys, so I just wanted to chime in because what we're going to come back, they're going to come back in a minute and they're going to talk about some more health stock and then do a recap. And I think I will be leaving out here. But just want to talk about the Feds. As you know, guys, anytime the Feds come on, you know what has happened. The market does drop tremendously. So you got to be very careful, as Jim was saying. So I wouldn't say buy today. You could wait, as they were saying, maybe today or Friday is a good time to buy. But once the Fed come out, guys, be ready, get your cash ready, and think about buying some stock. That could be some opportunity. But be very careful. I'll still say look at companies that give you dividends. So let us talk about AMD a little bit, and let me give my take on AMD. I still believe AMD is a good company. Would I be putting my own money in AMD? Maybe not right now, because as I said before, I am looking for companies that gives back dividend to me. But if you believe in AMD and you know AMD will be there for a while, you could use today or tomorrow to kind of get in. What I would do if I'm getting into a company, I would suggest that you buy a little tomorrow and then buy a little Friday if the market is down Friday. Don't do like me. I've made mistake where I just take all my money and buy one stock and then it go down. I just have to sit in my hands. But then your basis go down, so you get a cheaper price. But you know, once the Fed come, oh my God, once the Fed come on, it does be crazy. Let us just talk about Devon. I still like Devon Energy, and this is another oil stock. I think it's a great company, but we have to try to get it at the best price. And looking at the Devon chart, I don't think now is the best price. I think you should wait. If you see Devon hit maybe in the 60s, I would say like $60. I think that would be, I think it's what, 70 right now. That would be a good point to get in. So guys, consider that, because Devon is giving you an 8% dividend. So even if you're underwater with Devon a little bit, you're not really underwater, because every time you get a dividend, and if you have a couple, an 8% dividend does be very, very nice. I said, I prefer Pioneer Natural Resources. That's the company I'm in. We used to be in Devon. I have sold it, all my Devon, and put my money in Pioneer Natural Resources because they gave the highest dividend in the S&P. So guys, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to get back to Jim Cramer and Jeff Marks with the Investment Club, and then we will be closing off here shortly. So let's get back to Jim Cramer and Jeff Mark with the CNBC Investing Club.
David Rickson last night, incredibly bullish on the Manjaro opportunity.
Yeah, I know that we ran late today, but I do want to point out this. This is a gut reaction. I do get to speak with CEOs. I don't get any non-public information. If I got it, obviously, I would never talk about it. But what he's saying is that the weight loss is so significant that any of the current drugs that create weight gain, of which there are millions of people on, they will be the first to get it. Okay. After that will be more of the people who just are obese.
Yeah.
But that he believes this drug is every bit as big as I've been saying, as we've been saying. And the other thing that he seems to have a tremendous brain franchise, and I do a lot of, I'm the spokesperson for the American Brain Foundation, is that the class of drugs for Alzheimer's is the verification that they need. They do think they have a superior one, but what they really count on is the fact that the Alzheimer drugs are being approved by the government because there's nothing.
They want confidence in the in the
so
class.
They have confidence in the class. So it is. I have been saying to yesterday to Jeff, are we being greedy? I now think that we can go to 400.
Yeah, I think the risk with Mounjaro, just given how strong demand is going to be in these first couple of years of its launch, that they don't have enough supply. That's really the risk, to keep up with demand. They're investing heavily in manufacturing. I think they're expected to double their capacity next year. But can they keep up? They're obviously investing a lot, so they're going to do their best.
Agreed. You know, the reason why that there's excess inventory, so to speak, Trulicity, Mounjaro, is that the demand is going to be incredibly great. Why is it taking so long? A lot of people felt that this weight loss, that it's being extended. No, the FDA has had at times some companies that have done shortcuts to produce weight loss drugs. So they are being sure, being cautious, but believe me when I say I still think this will be the biggest drug of all time.
Yep, and that's reason enough to stick with it. More new launches coming in the next year. So it's a very exciting.
So to recap, we're working very hard to get more information as to order, but my inclination is that this is what we've been waiting for. Time to buy. Big dividend boost confirms that. Too early to pull the trigger on Devon. Let's have that one come down. There are others that I think are superior. We absolutely think that Eli Lilly is going to be a monster. AMD, we're going to listen to Lisa Su, but I feel dead cat bounce for now, even though I think they're better than Intel for what that's worth. And Humana, all systems go.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Thank you. I hope you find a lot of info. And I just want to recap. As I said before, you could listen to the meeting, and there is a lot of stocks. I mean, great stocks. If you're not into any stock or you're not sure what to buy, you could also join the CNBC Investing Club. They have the stock portfolio with thousands of stock to pick, and they also have the greatest stock. That's a stock. One is a stock they would buy now. Two is a stock they would buy and pull back. So there is great stock. There is great opportunity, and look for that opportunity in the stock market that says AMD if you believe it, but I still believe in a dividend. Try to look at one of the oil stocks. We got stocks like Coterra, which is like $30 if you don't really want to spend that much. We got Pioneer Natural Resources, which is my favorite. We got Devon, but kind of wait for a pullback. We try not to buy things on the up, but we try to buy things where they're down. Eli Lilly, as they talk about that in Humana, and my goal is to try not to chase and try to wait for the opportunity. Let the stock come to you. You don't want to buy. Eli Lilly, as great of a company it is, as Jim says, going to 400. And I have no doubt because I've seen that reach from 235 all the way up. But just be careful. You don't want to be in the red. They give like a 1% dividend. So the dividend is not that great, but the company has a lot of growth. So if you see Eli Lilly come down in a couple of days, maybe you are there. If you could see them like 330 somewhere on that marine, I definitely will say pull the trigger. Anyway, guys, if you're finding value, please comment and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow where we'll do another reaction with the CNBC Investment Club with Jim Cramer. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to comment.